name is Tommy Heffernan and I'm a veterinary consultant. I'm here at one of the two farms that I'm working with on a new project called Vision Farming, where we set out a 5-year ambitious plan for the two farms on a number of pillars. Animal health is one. And we have a number of programs in place in the farm over the last couple of weeks. Milk quality was one of them. We're coming up to drying off now. And in this short video, I'm going to talk about how we've used T-HEXX Dry from Hygiene as part of our routine and just best practice and why we're using it. With dry cow treatments being such a key part of our milk quality plan for the year now, and as we hope to move to selective dry cow therapy next year, we must get things right. We must do the correct procedures. So here's some top tips from me around drying off cows, the actual protocols, the process itself, and how we're using T-HEXX Dry. We've got our antibiotics, our sealers, we've got our wipes for the teats. I've actually got 2 pairs of gloves on, so if my gloves get dirty, I can just whip off a pair of gloves. But just a couple of things there. Having the 2 gloves on you allows you to, keep clean during the process. You've got to give yourself time. Invest in the new milking aprons. Just try and keep yourself as clean as possible. It's very hard. You can see just after 3 cows, things get very dirty very quickly. Have your station set up that everything's organised. So you want to look at it like surgery. You have a surgery, and Stephen was my surgical assistant. The head torch you can see there, even with those difficult teeth, is good to get a good view of them. So just having yourself rightly set up for the process itself, and then using the T-HEXX Dry, again, some small container, you don't use too much of it, that all makes a difference, that all helps. So for the purposes of this, we're kind of showing you how we're using T-HEXX Dry, but I will talk through the process as well. So a couple of things, you can see the tails are clipped here. The cows are reasonably clean, so we're looking at this process like it's almost surgery. Now we're doing blanket dry cow therapy. So when you're using blanket dry cow therapy, we can still introduce infections. So I can still see infections during the dry period. So what we're going to do is just go through the process. So our antibiotic goes into the teat, right? Up into the teat. We're infusing it up, right into the teat. So that's the first quarter done. Sometimes you can massage it up. So the next thing we're going to do is we have our antibiotic in, we're going to put our seal in. So we're going to clean again. You can see the teat end there. We're going to clean again. And the teat seal is different now. The teat seal, I want to fill up the teeth. So if you look at that teat there, it's going to fill up like a balloon. Good girl. She hasn't got the biggest teats in the world. Okay. So you can see there that the teeth, can you see the bit of teeth in there? Okay. Again, this lady, is quite dirty. It's a good example of, you can see the dirt there, that we keep wiping until, don't spare your wipes. This is why the cotton balls work way better than the wipes you might get in the pack. You can see the difference there, and I'd actually go again. So it's actually worth the effort. And this is why you need help, and this is why you need taking time. You can see that we're just giving her a real clean. You can see, unfortunately, she has some warts in the teeth there. And again, the light does help. I'm infusing my antibiotic up, getting into a routine. And I think the thing you need to remember is it's this part of the tube and the teeth that are meeting. So they're the 2 things to keep absolutely as clean as possible. And your own hands. So again, I'm wiping. You can see the difference between the barrel of the teeth and the end of the teeth. I'm keeping things as clean as possible there. You can see the teeth swelling up there again with the seal, and I'm working my way down. That's it. When we're drying off cows here, we have got a plan on the farm. Joe and Stephen are going to use antibiotics, they're going to use sealers. We're putting in T-HEXX Dry as an extra blanket of security, I suppose, on the teeth, okay? And I've gone up a little bit far. So what this external teeth sealant is doing is it's just actually covering the tip of the teeth, okay? So what we're doing is we're just covering the tip of the teeth, and it's actually a slow process because we want to let it drain away there. There's about 1 litre of the T-HEXX Dry there. We'll get about 95 cows out of that. Okay, so this is a little bit slow, but it actually is an extra layer that will last about 7 days. This works really well at drying off. It works probably for heifers as well, and it works for maybe those cows as they come up to calving that tend to leak a little bit more milk. Okay, so I've actually put too much on the front right there, but this is probably the amount you need, just the tip of the teeth. Okay, that's it. And the lads did tell me this lady mightn't be the quietest in the bunch, and this is a bit of reality for me. And you can see actually here as well, one thing with her is how hairy her udder is. Okay? And that's something we probably need to look at here, that singeing udders is an option. Okay. So antibiotic in first. Okay, so again, in between the antibiotic, we're going to go for clean. You can see the teeth end here. Look, I'm going to shine the light on this teeth and you can have a look at it. Maybe come out this angle and see the teeth end. You know, you can see the job the cotton wool and the alcohol has done on that. It's clean. And now we're going to go with our sealer. And again, the sealer, we'll pinch the top of the teeth. We're filling that teeth up. You can see it. I always describe it like a balloon. And then you're moving down and out. I suppose a good question actually at this point in time is why do we seal? And we're actually talking about not only sealing the teeth, we're talking about putting an external teeth seal. Why do we do that? And there's a good reason for it, because our cows, sorry, I'm just going to keep cleaning here, Stephen, on this one, this lady's a bit dirty. Our cows' milk flow rate has doubled in the last 30, 40 years. So that means that teeth sphincter, that muscle at the end, is actually under more pressure. So when we talk about cows drying off and we see milk leakage and stuff like that, there is an increased risk. So the studies have shown that teeth sealing, you can see there, look, I'm just going to whip off this glove to keep things clean. Teeth sealing actually makes a huge difference. I'm just going to keep clean. Let's give myself a little bit of a spray here. You know, make anything you can do to, we're all getting familiar with hand hygiene, but anything you can do to keep our hands as clean as possible, all helps. Okay, so I need to go back to the story of the teeth sealer. So because our milk flow rate has increased, you can see there, because our milk flow rate has increased, the teeth seal at drying off is not as effective as we would want it. So what the teeth seal does is it swells up and fills that canal and acts as a barrier. And then what we're doing again with our T-HEXX dry is we're creating an extra layer of security around the end of the teeth at drying off. So again, I find these cups, the small cup, very good. So you don't actually use that much of it. And what we do is we just place the cup up on the end of the teeth, and it just puts a little cap, and that'll last about 7 days. Okay, I'll move to the next teeth. Just a little cap on the end of the teeth. So a litre will do about close to 100 cows. And again, these teeth are close together. So okay, so why do we use an external teeth seal? Why do we use this? You can see I'm just going to, just for the purposes, I suppose, of people understanding what we're doing. We're putting it up on the end of the teeth, and it's forming a layer. It's just an extra layer of security. We've our antibiotic, we've our teeth sealant, and then we've our external teeth sealant. So when these cows go to their next, they're probably going to go indoors, they have that for that risk period of 7 days, and it's probably closer to 14 days the risk period is, they have that extra layer around the teeth end. So you can see it here. Okay, so look, that was just an example. There was a couple of cows that had to be dried off a little bit earlier. Some of the things to remember: clip the tails, keep things as clean as possible. We could clip the others here probably on this farm. The process is one teeth at a time. Really focus on cleaning. Put in your antibiotic. Again, sterilising, cleaning. You can see myself and Stephen were organised there. We got into a flow. You could probably do more, but it's always good for me as well to remind me how hard this job actually is. There's lots of muck, there's lots of dung. Cows don't always like this job, so just getting it right is hard sometimes. Then you're putting your sealer, and then I suppose the final thing was our T-HEXX dry we're using here as an external teeth sealer. You can see that there. When these ladies go out, there's going to be that extra layer of coverage, and I think some people will think that's excessive, but I think it works really well, and that's where we're aiming to be, trying to do the best we can this farm. So that's it. Thanks for listening.